If it hurts, you ain't breaks, no get you know let up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, blue game, tap, this win it. Press you again, here for the first mate. Carry like you never 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Just look around. You got the mountains. You got the most beautiful city in the whole entire country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. You know, the old field of dreams. Yeah. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
Tony Swanson says, SJD, will you ever go back on the Talkin VAWLS network?
Ooh, I like Talkin VAWLS. I think that's Boogie Bentley running the show over there, man. That's he's awesome at what he does. We actually were trying to get on his show during their stream for charity. Ended up not happening just by nature of the schedules conflicting. But yeah, absolutely we'll make that happen here in the near future. Boogie does an awesome job, and they do an awesome job over there on that platform. So yeah, without question. Without question.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here.
Do you remember when we fell in love? I remember, don't worry. Do you remember? I remember how it all began. How could I ever forget? It's the first time. Do you remember? I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it coming in the air. I can feel it in hands. I can feel it in each other. I can feel it coming in the air. Remember the time we fell in love. You remember the time. How could I ever forget? You remember the time we fell in love. You remember the time. How could I ever forget? Coming in the air.
Good. What is today? Monday? Yeah, it's Monday. Good Monday evening.
No
What's going on, boys? What's going on? Welcome. Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. Welcome to Late Night Talkin VAWLS. It's 9 o'clock. We don't usually go live at 9 o'clock. Usually things get weird at 9 o'clock on Tuesday nights, but it's Monday. But, man, look, this was my commitment to you guys. I told you guys this season. You guys have been so generous with your memberships, man. They are at an all-time high, and it's February. So I told you guys, when news breaks, when things happen, we're going to figure it out. We're going to jump on. We're going to do a live stream, and that's what we are doing tonight. We'll see how the views are. I don't really care. I'm here to hang out with the boys, talk maybe some girls, maybe the ladies will pop in tonight as well. We're going to talk some Tennessee football. I'm sure Mrs. Coach J is already in the chat. Shout out Mrs. Coach J. But boys, Josh Heupel had a couple of hires to make. We are 4 weeks away from spring camp, and I think the timing of that was crucial, right? You got to get your coaches in. They got to kind of get caught up to speed going into spring camp. What were your thoughts today, Coach Jay? We got a running backs coach. We got a linebacker coach. We're going to break both of those down. But timing-wise, good to get this thing over with quick.
Extremely good to get it done with quick. Like we were kind of discussing the other day, you're prepping for the season right now, right? It's already, you have been already, you're adjusting the game plans, you're putting in whatever tweaks you have kind of gathered from your film from the previous year and getting ready to install them come spring. So it's extremely important, not only from a kind of logistics standpoint, but a recruiting standpoint as well. I know coaches have already started to reach out to some of these recruits. I'm sure we'll dive on into it, but I think it's extremely important that we got both of these solved in short order.
I mean, that's a good question right there, Coach Rice, is talking about recruiting, the impact on recruiting. Look, Brian Jean-Marie, he was a big part. I heard AP and Brent Hubbs did a little video about it, and they were saying, Brian Jean-Marie was Tim Banks. He was right-hand man. Like, he was a big part of this defense. You think we're going to see any impact this spring, transfer portal, recruiting, from the change at the running back coach and linebacker coach?
Well, I think that, there's a chance. There's always a chance. And, with this transfer portal, I don't think you see much recruiting wise. Maybe for the 25 cycle. But transfer portal, there's always a chance. A guy that was really glued to maybe the Cincinnati coach or has some history with a recruit, he's recruited before, and maybe even the linebacker coach from Washington that was pretty much hired on at Alabama to take that job, which is always good stealing from Alabama. So I think it does have a little impact on the recruiting, maybe not early, but I think Josh Heupel hit a home run with both of these guys. I mean, that was the running back guy my first choice? No, but I think at the end of the day, I think he was someone that we weren't really thinking about, but when we find out about him, he's like, heck yeah, I'm all on for this dude, because we're going to hear from him here in a little bit. And I told Boogie and Jay before the stream, I've done a little research on this dude. He is a go-getter. He is someone that as a leader, fiery guy, that I can't wait to be in charge of leading our running back room. And guys, we've had a A++ running back room the last couple of years. I think it's just going to keep improving.
It's funny, the coaching hot board video I made this morning, I said I thought that Anthony Jones was 1A and Lachlan was 1B, and then Sims was kind of another guy they were just talking to. And then he gets hired, and like you said, Coach Rice, the more – look, I don't know every college football coach in America. That's the reality of the situation. But what do you do? What do you do? What Swain said when he was on the show, you go do your homework. You go do your research. And I was talking to Nelson. Nelson's down there in the chat. Look at him. He's already going. We've been live for 9 minutes, and Nelson's already on the attack. We were talking on Twitter. We were going back and forth, and it's like, man, the more I dig into this guy, the more I look at who Derell Sims is, what he's done. Yeah. I like this guy. He may. I think it may be a home run. We're gonna break both these guys down individually. We got some videos we're gonna look at, and then we're gonna open it up to you guys. This is gonna be a fan call-in show on the back half of the show. But let's go back. Let's take a look. Let's see who the early arrivals were. We got 230 people watching. That's amazing. Seeing how we just decided to go live a couple of hours ago. So help us out. Do hit that thumbs up. Hit that share button. Blast it out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you get social with your media. We would appreciate it. Matt Zimmerman was here bright and early. Says go Big Orange. Williams in the house. What's up, brother? Bubbles is here. David is in the house. Matt's in the house. Connor is here. Chuck Main says hello, Vol fam. Lil Clout becomes a member of the channel, a.k.a. Tony Vitello. Well, shout out to Clout. Appreciate that support, brother. Keep those memberships rolling in. You guys, I cannot thank you enough, man. It's always a fear that they're going to – not even a fear. It's a reality. They drop off in the offseason. They are going up. You guys, you are taking the memberships to the moon. Hit that join button. Keep them coming in. Mark Wilson's been a member for 33 months. Mark's an OG, says GBO. Appreciate that, brother. Seth is in the house. Says, what up, everybody? He said, what up, everybody? He's been a member for 19 months. Shout out to the Sethinator. Who else was in here early? Christopher was here early. What's up, brother? Ron the Don, of course, is here. Angry Titans in the house. Mark Wahlberg. That's a good name. He used to be, you guys know what he used to be named. I do like Mark Wahlberg. I like it. I will allow it. Says 9 p.m. on a school night, you crazy, crazy SOBs. All right, let's get into it. John Watts for 5 says Dorothy. I appreciate that, John. He's going to kick things off. And I'll update the leaderboard just for John. I appreciate, there's 232 people that snuck in. And John Watts says, you know what? Boogie derailed his entire night, told his family that he was going to work and they could go find something else to do. And he says, here's $5 for the man. Appreciate you, John. Thank you for the super chat. Culberson's here. What's up, brother? All right. I can't go yet. Y'all still throwing chats at me. Matt Marr has been a member for 16 months. Says, shit. They just want me to say shit. It ain't even Tuesday, boys. I know it's late. Not talking balls. He says, feeling pretty good about these hires. Jenny's been a member for 7 months. Appreciate that, Jenny. I personally like both hires. Trust Heupel. Go Vols. We keep getting disrespected on social media, but I like it's going to be a lot sweeter when we are better than they think. Justin Goforth for $20. That is not cheap. That's Orange Boy. I will roll down here maybe and play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Shout out to Justin Goforth. That is not cheap, my man. We appreciate it. What did I say? Something else? What did I say? What are you laughing at, Coach Rice?
Angry Titans.
Oh, see, yes. Okay. Justin Goforth for $20. That is not cheap. We appreciate it, brother. Says, what up, guys? GBO new hires. Justin, have you been sleeping under a rock? Have you been asleep today? It's been a little chaotic today. We thought a hire was coming between maybe Wednesday and Friday, but we've got a linebacker coach. We got a running back coach. We're going to break them both down. Let's start. I want to start with, let's just go in order. Let's start with Derell Sims. And again, I mentioned him. I made a video about this hire earlier, but we'll kind of briefly recap it just real quick. The one thing that stood out to me, number one, he's a young guy, man. And that's the interesting part about these hires. They're kind of two polar opposites. You got a 38-year-old, and then I think William Inge I think he's in his 50s. You got a guy that's got a lot of Southeast ties. You got a guy that's got a lot of Northwestern ties. Very interesting contrast here. But the thing that stuck out to me was Sims when I started digging into it, looking at the numbers. The fact that his running back room has been in the top 25 in rushing yards per game the last 3 seasons. This past season, 217 rushing yards per game. That was 5th in the country. Coach Rice, we'll let you take the lead on this one because it's the offensive side of the ball. One of the counter arguments I saw was, he did it at Cincinnati and Louisville. That's not very elite competition. What would your counter argument to that be? And what do you like about Derell Sims?
Well, I just like his work ethic. The dude seems like he's got a guy that comes in, he's done his due. He's worked his way up. He's someone that is, like we said, young. The guy's really is relatable with him. And seems like as a players coach that really the players buy in all in with him. From what I've seen, seen on several different sites about him. I was looking up some things about him earlier, and he's a guy that preaches, hitting the spot and getting up the field, making sure you're trusting your offensive lineman and trusting the play and just and developing his guys. It's like you said, the last 3 years, it's every year. He's had very productive rooms, and it's not just one guy. I mean, he has had multiple guys show up and show out, and I think this is why he with his ties to a different spot of the United States, that Tennessee may be able to could get some groundwork put in. I think it's massive, and so I think this dude is going to be great for a guy like Dylan Sampson to have some a new outlook. Don't get me wrong, Jerry Mack was freaking awesome, especially being one of the guys that when he came in, he was very overlooked. Probably someone that was probably the least thought up about on the staff when Josh Heupel originally hired him. I think this dude is going to be a plus home run hire. Give him some time to build those relationships because he's a very relationship guy that loves building his relationships with the running back room and keeping that culture established that Josh Heupel has implemented, and this guy is just going to continue it and make it stronger. I have a very strong feeling that this dude's going to be great for the program. It's like I said earlier, not the guy that we were all thinking. I know I saw someone earlier talking about how they preferred the Oregon running backs coach. Yes, that would have been my go-to guy too, because I've heard several great things about him. But the research I've done on this dude, and the what the people have talked about him and how hard he works and his love for the game, that's, as a Tennessee fan, that's what you want in your coaches. They love the game, they love the kid players, and they're going to get the best out of them. So, hey, as I think it's going to be a home run hire, and now we can move on, get ready for spring football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, Coach.
Go ahead. Go.
No, you go, and then I'll come back. Go.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, yeah, I second everything Coach Rice said. First of all, I love that he's already talking to recruits. I think this staff has always kind of relied on their evaluations throughout the recruiting process. I think if they could put, you know, their most important thing on whether it be coaches or players than anything, I think the word that we could use would be development. I know that's kind of the word recruits have been throwing around already when kind of talking to Coach Derell, but just kind of diving into his past. Top 25 his last 3 years in a row. He's had all conference backs at every single stop he's had. He was dominant as a running backs coach at Jimmy Madison when he was there. He led them 1 year, guys. Listen to this: 4,125 rushing yards in a single season. That's a CAA record, and I know it's not the big conference, but Jimmy Madison plays in the Big Dog Conference within that league, and as we've seen as they've stepped into the light after defeating kind of Dakota after a lot of years in a row. That's a good little school with a good little program coming along, kind of like to the tune of a team like an Appalachian State or something like that. So the fact that he's able to get that done in that season, he had a 1,800-yard rusher with 22 plus touchdowns that year. This guy has had a 18-game span where he had a 100-yard game for 18 games in a row out of a running back. And from what I've seen from other coaches, they've thrown around the sentence a couple times that this guy's a rising star. I always want to listen to what your peers are saying about you. I know that's probably important, Coach Rice, as well. And people have been glowing about this guy. So I think the coaches, even though maybe one or two guys sounded a little better, I think once, like Boogie said, they did their homework and peeled the Band-Aid back a little bit. They felt like they had the best guy for the job right here, and I think we did find him. I'm excited about this hire after peeling back a couple layers of the onion.
We're gonna take a look at an interview with him. It's on Inside the Headset. It's a YouTube show. It's just like a podcast, sit-down style interview. And one of the things that he says, I'm just going to show a short clip of it here in just a little bit, 2-3 minutes. But one of the things he says is football is football. And to the counter argument of, well, you're not playing at any elite level. Well, guess what? If I'm coaching at James Madison, or I'm coaching at ETSU, or I'm coaching at wherever, man, Carson Newman, he coached at Carson Newman. Guess what? The players on your team are at the same level as the players of the competition, right? So it's still football. It's still even competition. So for him to have top 25 rushing attack for the last 3 years, I mean that's huge for me. As far as recruiting, Culberson, I saw your question in the chat. Where is he at as far as recruiting goes? I've not dug into that side of it yet. I do know that obviously he landed Tyon Evans. That's a name that's going to be familiar to all of us while he was at Louisville. Now Tyon Evans didn't have a whole lot of options based on the circumstances. I've seen some stuff floating around with some four-star guys that he signed, landed. One of those guys flipped to Texas A&M, but it was right at the same time that Sims was going from Louisville to Cincinnati. Did that play a part in it? I don't know. I do know he has a lot of connections in the Carolinas and also in Georgia. And I wonder how much of Heupel's that's part of it, right? Those relationships in the Carolinas, in Georgia, how much that plays into it. And like I mentioned, he coached at Carson Newman in 2012. Guess who played football at Carson Newman in 2012? Any guessers? Anybody have an idea? Anybody have a clue?
Kane.
Old Kaner. Old Kaner was a linebacker down at Carson Newman at that time. Said he didn't have much interaction with him, but I did see that he posted in the general's quarters that one of his best friends at Carson Newman played running back and loves him some Derell Sims. So, again, you talk about the relationships, Coach Jay, you talk about your peers. Now let's talk about players. A guy that played under him loves him. So that's I like that. The more I've dug into this dude, the more I love him. Let me catch up on Super Chats. Michael Davis for 5 says, Dorfy, I like what I've heard about Sims. Haven't heard much about any others. We're gonna get into William Inge here in just a second. I'm excited because, like Coach Rice said, we stole him from Bama. And guess what? Old Coach DeBoer has three position coaches that he's trying to replace. He's not even had a practice yet, and they've already come and gone. You hate to see it.
And
Ron the Don.
One of them's an OC too.
You hate it. You hate that, right? You hate that for him, man. Let's let them. And Nelson sent me a clip of their workouts today. We're about to turn the tide. Ron the Don. Did you? I'm not going to say anything. Ron the Don for 10 says, Dorfy engaged. This is prep. This is prep time. Coaches are fixed in, set in, and ready to rock and roll. With his offense, what better resume could there be but to join this coaching roster? Get that natty. Was that good? I felt like that was pretty good.
I thought
that was really
that was pretty good.
Yeah, I felt like that was good. Shout out Ron the Don. Love when Ron the Don's in the house. Always good to see you, my friend. Gage Rivas for $20. That ain't cheap. That's Orange Boy. We'll do it.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Gage said, just wanted to toot my own horn and say my own business became recognized by the state of Tennessee today, now fully licensed and insured. So wanted to share the love and, of course, say GBO. Well, congratulations, Gage. We appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Thanks for showing a little love to us, but congratulations to you, and best of luck in the future with that business, my man. That's awesome. So congratulations. Let's jump into this interview, man. This interview, like I said, we're going to go 30, 40 minutes, then we're going to open this thing up, get you guys on here and have some fun with a little bit of a fan call-in show. This is, again, Inside the Headset. This is Coach Sims kind of talking about his progression as a coach, right? People want to talk about him coaching, where he's been, what he's done. Carson Newman, it's only Louisville, it's only Cincinnati, it's only this, it's only that. I listen to a lot of this. I encourage you guys, go back and listen to this entire podcast until they copyright strike me, and then don't listen to it. But hopefully they won't. It's a great interview. Let's take a listen.
So for me, starting out at the NAIA level, Division II level, you learn how to coach. You got a chance to make all your mistakes because you're not worried about making a mistake in front of 80,000 people. You know, some games you only had 1,000 people at the game.
Yeah.
But you learn how to coach and you learn how to manage your room. I had a lot of older coaches that, you know, I remember never going to a meeting without something to write on and having a pen.
Mm-hmm.
Always go to practice and make sure you got 2 pens on you. So if you lose one, you still got another. But understanding, here's how the way you have to structure your room. And that was trial and error for me because I was young. The thing about it is, like I talked about when I was coaching linebackers, I always went in and said, fellas, I don't have all the answers, but I'll make sure that I'll find the answers for you so that I'm leading you down the right path.
That's a dude right there. Coach Rice, you mentioned leadership. That's leadership.
Yep.
I worked in corporate America for 22 years. You know how many bosses I said, hey, man, if I don't know the answer, I'll get it for you. And then when you're in the fire, they're basically like, screw you, go figure it out for yourself. That's a leader. I like what he had to say there. What are your thoughts on that as a coach, as an offensive coordinator? Are you humble enough to say, boys, I don't have the answer, but let me go do my homework. Let me go do my work, and we'll find the answer.
Oh yeah, anytime. And I'll be the first to admit, there's been times where a defense, let's say for example, just has the offense that we've ran's number. But am I going to work my tail off to try to find the answers to put the players in the best spot to succeed and take advantage of that defense that's had that number? Yes, I want to work my tail off, and that's what I love seeing from this guy, and that's what I mentioned earlier. This dude is a guy that loves football. He loves football. He loves the game. He loves putting the players in the best chance to succeed, and he's a hard worker. And if there's any coach that Coach Heupel wants to join this staff, it's a guy just like this and it's a word that we just keep pounding, is culture. And you want it in every spot. It's not just the players. Coach's culture is just as important as the players' culture. If the coaches don't get along and don't have the right charisma and don't have the right mindset, hey, this is all this is going to come together. We're going to make this team, put this team in the best spot. Then you're lost without getting it to the players. So this is freaking awesome. I love hearing this. That's what you want out of your coaches.
Let's hear more. There's a lot to unpack, and I'll fire questions off of both you guys as we go through this couple of minutes here.
So that portion was critical. Also, being an NAIA coach and Division II coach, you learn how to recruit. Because we were sitting there when I was at Pikeville having to recruit and keep 100 players on the roster. So every year you were signing between 30 to 40 players. Same situation when I got to Carson Newman. It was the same exact deal. So you learn how to recruit because you're typically signing about 10 guys, overall when you're recruiting area. And those guys are paying to come to school to play football.
Yeah.
So you understood the ins and outs of the game from that standpoint. So that portion was very beneficial. And then moving on to FCS, you learned, okay, now you got 63 scholarships. Here's the deals that you're looking for in your room. It's a little bit different now because you are able to give full scholarships. There's still some partials here and there, but it's a different type of athlete that you're looking for. And the competition that you're playing against is really, really good. And so you learn how to recruit at a higher level. And then moving on to the group of 5 level, I mean, some of these recruiting battles, you got to go against some big dogs. Yeah. And you're going to win some and some you're going to lose. Schematically, football is still football. Yeah. It don't matter what level it is, football is still football. And then going on to the Power 5 level is, number one, you're managing personalities in your room because everybody thinks that they're going to the NFL. So you're having to manage guys from that standpoint, but also at the same time, you get into some heated recruiting battles because now you're going for the best of the best.
Yeah.
And you're going to win some of those, you're going to lose some of those. And that, I think, the biggest growth process in recruiting and in coaching is through the failure, especially when you may lose a recruit, but you lose him not necessarily because something that you did wrong. This school may have a better opportunity for him to have early playing time. And you always go back and reevaluate, what can I done better as a recruiter? Same situation that you do as a coach.
Right. Coach, I know it's a lot. He's talking about a lot here. He's talking about the growth and going from, a place like Carson Newman and then Division II and then up to the big leagues and Power 5 and recruiting and relationships. And I like hearing him talk about, to me, like, a lot of people think it's an NIL world, right? It's all NIL. It's all money based. I think the three of us are in alignment. There's still a lot to be said for relationships. So when you talk about a guy that had to go out and recruit kids that were paying to come play football. They were paying to come play football, and you were trying to recruit them. You got to like that. And just the maturity, man. Like him talking about, how can I get better, the mistakes I've made. You got to like what you're hearing, Coach Jay.
I love what I'm hearing. And yeah, look, the hard truth of college football is you got to be a bit of a salesman, right? You got to be able to sell your brand. And if you can sell a brand that they actually have to pay for, right, that they're not getting a bunch of gifts and bonuses, it kind of teaches you to hone in on what's important to these kids, right? We've sat down with a recruit on this channel that's told us that NIL wasn't even brought up in his conversation, right? You've heard that from people. Listen, it's part of the package. We all know that, but it's not the end all be all for these kids either. Look, a lot of these kids, these young men, even when they go to school like Carson Newman or whatever school you may have it, these kids all have aspirations of making it big when they start off, right? They were all good high school football players who are going on to play at the collegiate level, no matter what level. And these kids all want to be successful and move forward, and they're going to pick a school that's going to facilitate that, right? A lot of them aren't thinking, oh crap, well, if I suck, at least I'll have this $400,000 check from NIL. It's just not how recruits are wired. So that's awesome that he has that experience. I love how self-aware he is. That's awesome to see. You always need to be self-evaluating as a coach, always figuring out how to get better, always honest with yourself on how to get better. If you're not improving every single year, you're backsliding as a coach. So you got to kind of grab the bull by the horns and always make sure you're getting better at every moment in time. And you can kind of see that written on this young man's face.
Well, I mean, you definitely
That's
could.
life, man. That's life. That is life.
Yeah.
Always be self-evaluating and honest with yourself.
Yep.
Coach Jay bringing life lessons here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go ahead, Coach Rice.
Well, and then what we've seen from his history, and there's a lot of coaches, and like me and Coach Jay, we've had our where you have to work your way up, you have to pay your dues, and learn each step as you go. That when I first started coaching, did I know everything I know now in coaching? And Coach Jay will tell you the same thing. Lord, no. We're still learning stuff. And it's not even stuff that we're expecting to learn. We see it and we're like, oh crap, well, that's new. And so it's something as a coach that you want to take, you want to put the pride aside and be humble enough to learn from others, to learn and be someone that if you want to improve yourself as a coach, this is what you got to do. And that's whether it's be in your program you're in or in other programs that you're growing through. Like we know with this guy, he was at Carson Newman. Then he went to at one point it was at Louisville. And then he went to Cincinnati, which those aren't the highest level but look at where he is now. He's at Tennessee, and that's the highest of the highest. He's in the freaking SEC. So he's done his work. He's put the time in. He's worked his tail off. He loves the game. And it's just someone that knows the game of football and wants to see his players that he is in charge of developing and building relationships with, see them succeed. That's why Coach Jay, that's why several coaches, all the coaches all around the world that's what they want, is to see their kids succeed and put them in the best position to be able to do that. And that's what this guy does.
All right, guys, we got 316 people watching live on this late night Talkin VAWLS on a Monday. Now, appreciate you guys tuning in. Smash the thumbs up. Share out the link. Let somebody know we're live. We would greatly appreciate it. If you're watching on the replay, drop us a comment. What do you think about Derell Sims? What do you think about William Inge? We're going to get into him in just a second. But if you're watching on the replay, let us know what you guys think. But more importantly, just smash that thumbs up, share it out. Let's keep this channel growing. Let's take it to the moon. We are going to open this up to a fan call-in show. I know better when the three of us motor mouths get on together. I should say it's going to be 4 hours of us rambling. I was like, can we do 30 minutes and then get everybody on here for fan call-in show? We're 33 minutes in, and we've not even touched on the linebacker coach because the three of us never shut up. We love to talk. We love to hear ourselves talk. We're going to self-evaluate how much we talk, and then we're going to keep talking. But I promise you guys, we're going to open it up as a fan call-in show here shortly. Joey Carroll is in the house. What's up, brother? For 5 says smash the thumbs up. Let's go. I'm excited about both hires. Thank you, Joey. Appreciate you dropping in, buddy. Thank you for the super chat. We're still going live tomorrow night. We're going live tomorrow night. Little NCAA football. It gets weird. On Tuesday nights. But let's hear more from this Inside the Headset with Derell Sims.
And then it's vice versa. When you're sitting here developing your guys, I take pride in every single off season redeveloping myself. Going back from the very beginning of fall camp all the way through the season, what things could I have done better? So like after every practice, I come in and I make notes to myself so that now I can go back through and review them. So that every year I'm just starting all over again. What drills do I want to take out? What drills do I want to combine together? How can I evolve as a coach? Where do I feel like my weakness is this year? What strengths do I feel like I have? And what things can I really take to the next level? So try to do that holistically in every area.
Yeah. Well, you said something.
All right, we'll stop it right there. I encourage you guys, go back, watch that entire interview. You're going to fall in love with Derell Sims, like we've touched on multiple times throughout the opening of this show. When he first got hired, I was like, man, that's option C. And now I'm like, nope, that's that dude. That is a home run hire. So let's move over. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. This one shocked me, man. This one shocked me. Like the running back, I knew they were close. I knew they were down to the final 4-ish, probably really the final 3. And even though they were saying Wednesday through Friday, it didn't shock me that happened. I'd only seen one name on the board for the linebacker coach. And then boom, here we go. It pops off. William Inge, former Washington co-defensive coordinator, linebacker coach, and assistant head coach at Washington. He was going to follow Coach DeBoer to Alabama. That was already being reported. So many people were talking about it. Like we mentioned earlier, now Coach DeBoer is trying to replace 3 coaches, like Coach Rice said, one of those being his offensive coordinator. You hate it. You hate to see it for him. Interesting thing. Again, kind of polar opposites here. A little bit older. He's in his 50s. He's a veteran dude. You're talking about a guy that was a co-defensive coordinator and assistant head coach. That's a dude with a lot of experience. So why is he coming to Tennessee? What's is it money? He was making a lot of money at Washington. So is it a money deal? I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Let me just throw it to Coach Jay. I'm sure you did a little bit of homework, a little bit of research. What are your thoughts here? A guy that, coached the defense for a Washington football team that you said late in the year, you said, Boogie, they're going to end up in the national championship game. I'm making fun of them. You're saying, Boogie, they're going to the national championship game. So obviously, you know a little something about coaching linebackers. You know a little something about coaching defense. What do you think about the hire?
My my first reaction when I saw it, it was like when you're going over to your parents' house to eat and your mom lets you know she's cooking that meal that you absolutely love to eat and you didn't know she was making it, so you're freaking pumped that that's what you're eating that night. That's how I felt about this hire, man. It was like a welcome Christmas present. I do know quite a bit about this coach. Did pull up some things too, just to kind of pull up some cross references that I thought, but this is a guy that's plugged in heavily, like you said, through the Northwest, through the West Coast, through Central California, through all of CIF, well plugged in with the players out here. Of course, came along is a young man under the legendary Coach Long at San Diego State, just a legendary defensive mind. Helped develop the 3-3-5 young in his career. One of the pioneering minds behind that defense. Developed into a quasi 4-2-5 scheme. I think he's going to bring a lot to this defense analytically as well. I think we shouldn't just look at him as a linebacker coach. This guy is going to bring a little seasoning for this defense, and he's another coach who gets a lot out of his players. When I think of this coach, he's a consummate teacher. This is a coach who spent a little bit of time in Buffalo as the Bills' defensive line coach, but also coaches linebackers individually. And you might be familiar with a certain linebacker that he brought along. His name was Khalil Mack. He played for Buffalo. Went on to be drafted by the Raiders. I can't even recall who he's with now, but just an amazing linebacker in Khalil Mack, and a kid that fell under his tutelage. Of course, also you're getting something. You're getting a little bonus points with this coach too. You're getting a coach that's been intimately around Coach DeBoer's system. Right. So he's going to kind of know a lot of these concepts that Bama is going to be bringing to us. So we got a little inside trader information. He is older, but he checks off all the boxes, guys. He knows a ton about football. He's been around pioneering minds. He knows the linebacker position inside and out. He gets a lot out of his players, and I'm really excited for the hire.
Something that, let me throw this at you, Coach Rice. God, I sound like Dauber. Let me throw this out there. I sound like freaking Dauber. Interesting. No real connections to Heupel or Tim Banks, right? And that's what we were looking for. It's like, to use VolQuest in their words, the Rolodex of contacts that Tim Banks has. This was not on, I don't think, anybody's radar.
And again. Nowhere.
Yeah, like nobody was expecting this, but this was an interesting thought process for me. Does Tim Banks, why are you hiring a guy that was a co-defensive coordinator and a linebackers coach and an assistant head coach? You're bringing him in as your linebacker coach. Why is that guy coming here? It can't just be for money. Surely Alabama was going to give him money, right? So is Josh Heupel playing not even chess? Is he playing like 3D chess and everybody else is playing checkers? Does he see the writing on the wall? And a lot of people are going to – I'll probably get hate for this. I'll probably get called an idiot. I'm used to it. That's fine. I told you guys Jerry Mack was a good coach. Now he's off to the NFL. I told you Brian Jean-Marie was a good coach. He got a gigantic pay raise to go back to Michigan. I think Tim Banks is ultimately going to be a head coach. Is that coming next year? Is Josh Heupel playing 3D chess and thinks that Tim Banks is going to get that head coaching job next year? He was rumored to MTSU. Ultimately, he's going to be a head coach sooner rather than later. So is Josh Heupel getting his next defensive coordinator in waiting, expecting Tim Banks to kind of get that next step, go be a head coach somewhere? Now we're talking about Alex Golesh, head coach, Tim Banks, head coach, but now you can kind of slide a guy that's fully prepared to be a defensive coordinator in William Inge. You slide him in, and he takes over for Tim Banks.
I could most definitely see that. I mean, that's just like you said just a second ago. He was already rumored to be on some coaching, what's the word I'm looking for? Coaching, searching vacancies. He was one of the guys that was at the top of the list, and of course MTSU being the one we heard several things about that this was in play. This was going to happen, and of course it didn't end up happening. But I think personally, Tim Banks is looking for something maybe a little bigger than MTSU, maybe something like at a American Conference level, something that something kind of like Golesh did with USF, and we see the great success he had in his first year, taking the program from hardly any wins in 3 years to going 7-6 in his first year and a bowl win. So I think it's just the writing on the wall. You got a guy that you just recently hired that has that evidence of being a guy that is has the criteria to step in and be that DC, someone that's had that title of assistant head coach and has had the resume of working in the NFL and working under a legendary head coach out at San Diego and has been on a national championship title game coaching staff, to where he has that pedigree of knowing what he's doing. And I think his what he's going to bring to this team is like kind of what Coach Jay said, is going to be massive, because he's got that seasoning, like Coach Jay. I thought that was perfect words for it, because he's got to add some flavor to this defense that Tim Banks has already produced, that's got better and better each year. This is only going to add to the greatness. You think you got Rodney Gardner on the D line. Now you got this guy coaching line. No offense to Brian Jean-Marie. He was great, I think. But this dude adds a level of more knowledge to the game that he brings and adds to this what's already here. And I think it's just great for Tennessee's coaching staff in general.
Coach Jay, do you worry about recruiting, being a Northwestern guy versus having those I think it is a huge positive, huge plus to have the relationships already in place with the high school coaches, right? That's the key. The connection is the high school coaches. You recruit the Carolinas, guess what? You know the coaches. When you show up to visit a kid, that they're in that kid's ear. I think that's a huge positive. But AP brought up a point when he was talking about this hire and basically said, if you can recruit, you can recruit. You're going to build the relationships. You're going to be just fine.
Yeah, it's exactly right. If you can recruit, you're going to recruit. And, we're always going to recruit pretty strongly in that that Georgia, Carolina, Tennessee little triangle right there. But what I'm excited about is I think he will bring some of these California linebackers in the boat, which is one of the reasons I got so excited, right? I mean, think about Tennessee, California linebackers, right? Let's talk about what Kevin Burnett, Kevin Simon, right? I mean, we can go down the list for a little while on our Tennessee linebackers. It's probably the second strongest position in the state, behind quarterbacks, in the state of California, as far as how I would classify the state, is strength of position. So I'm super pumped about it. I am super duper pumped about it. And for me, he fills a hole that Coach Marie was missing when I was talking the other night. The kind of one thing I picked on him for was the linebackers pass defense, right? And I think this coach really solves that problem and corrects that piece of the game and kind of plugs in those other parts. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. I think he's going to recruit just fine. I think he's a very relatable coach. He is old school. He's not old school in the same manner that Rodney Gardner is, right? He's not going to tear you up. But if you do it wrong, if you don't put in the effort and your form, your technique, and all that kind of stuff isn't perfect, you're going to be doing it every single time until it is. And he is one of those kinds of coaches. And in that regard, I think him and Coach Gardner will fit together nicely. And you want good synergy between your defensive line coach and your linebacker coach. It is so important to have good synergy between those two. And I could see Rodney Gardner and coaching have much better synergy together than Coach Marie and Coach Gardner had. So that's a piece of the puzzle as well that we need to be aware of.
Let me catch up with you guys in the chat. The link is out for Talkin VAWLS Elite. Nobody's popping in here. We plan to do an hour tonight. You guys want to pop in? You want to hang out? This is your opportunity. If you don't, we're going to shut down the fan call-in show, and I may pull up a video from On3 and talk about over-under for win totals in 2024. That may be how we round out the show. So if you want to come on and talk about these coaching hires, now is the time. The link is on the community tab for Talkin VAWLS Elite and higher. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. If you don't, we're going to change the show, and we're going to roll right into something else. But this is your show. You guys decide what you want. Knoxville Predator Catcher says, I might be wrong, but it seems like we've hired a coach from Cincinnati before. Definitely excited for the linebacker coach. You know, I love Knoxville Predator Catcher. He usually pops in here and drops a dad joke. But now he's talking about Butch Jones and Cincinnati. Come on. Be better. That's what they tell me, Knoxville Predator Catcher. They say be better. I don't know what that means, but that's what they tell me, so I'm going to say it to you. But shout out to you. Appreciate the super chat, brother. Russell Moorfield, member for 34 months, says, I'm with you, Boogie. I don't know what he's with me on. I'm pretty sure I'm right all the time, though. I'm never wrong. I don't self-evaluate, like certain running back coaches do. So we'll see. Let's Timothy McGee for 5. How about a DB coach? You want to get rid of Willie Martinez?
We got one.
All right. Less option routes. Wait, less timing routes and option
More
routes.
timing
More
routes.
timing routes. Less option routes.
There you go.
More timing routes. Shout out Timothy. Appreciate the super chat, brother. All right, Jenny's going to come in. She's going to run the show. She's here.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want you idiots to talk about the win total. I want to talk about the coaches. Jenny representing the ladies. All you gentlemen in the chat are terrified to come on here and talk some Tennessee football. How are you feeling on this Monday night? Tennessee, they've got their running back coach. They got their linebacker coach. And we're 4 weeks away from spring camp, Jenny. 4 weeks away.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. You sound like JP. Can y'all hear me?
No, just what you just said about the running backs coach hire. Everybody, I keep seeing we hired from Cincinnati before. Head coach and a running back coach and a position coach are completely different things. Completely different. And I just stop with that. I'm tired of seeing that. I've seen it all over social media. Just stop. And second, just to piggyback off of what Coach Jay said, he hit the nail on the coffin because I'm seeing a lot of things about, well, can he recruit in the South? Let me tell you some of you younger people who may not know. Once upon a time, Tennessee was able to recruit from anywhere and everywhere. And just like he said, in the early 2000s, when I was at UT, we had Kevin Barnett and Kevin Simon. I knew both of them. Shout out to both of them. They were amazing. I had a Kevin Burnett jersey. I have a picture of me in front of Neyland in a Kevin Burnett jersey. They were great, both of them. And they're both from California. So I don't understand why. First of all, right now, Georgia is so hot. It's harder for us to recruit in Georgia and Florida than it was when Fulmer was our coach. We could get those players, pick those players out of Georgia. It's harder now. So we have to be able to recruit elsewhere. We're going to have to be able to. Used to have a lot of players from California. Casey Clausen, Kevin Burnett, Kevin Simon. I mean, we can go on and on.
Jesse Mahalona.
Yeah.
Nico Iamaliava. Where's he from? I forgot.
I can go on and
Long
on.
Beach.
And
okay.
we need that West Coast. We need those West Coast ties. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that is calculated. You want somebody on the West Coast, right? Why not? Why not? You've got the Southeast ties. You got now the Carolinas with your running back coach. Ron the Don is here. What is up, my brother?
Yeah.
Man, what's good? What's good?
How you feeling about these coaching hires today? You feeling confident? Excited?
Awesome. Let me tell you something. Any coach, even player within their right mind, when they see the direction of this program, you've got to get in on it. Once these natties start popping off, there's going to be a coaching carousel like you've never seen before. We're going to have coaches who are consistent at coaching, who can take the players and make them want to run through the wall or run past the wall. It's got to happen. I like the picks because we need a little bit of greenery in them coaches. Not the other greenery, but that green in the coaches where they have that drive, that desire. And players pick up on that stuff. Players know when you want to get on the field just as much as they do to play ball. That's what we need. That's what we got. That's what we're getting.
Let me hit $2 from Jeff Puckett. Says he brings with him the knowledge of DeBoer's offense. Yeah, I don't remember if it was Coach Jay or Coach Rice brought that up earlier. Yeah, that's huge. That is huge. That's huge, man. Alabama's on the way down. Do y'all feel that? Does everybody here feel that? I feel like the Tennessee-Alabama rivalry has always been streaky, and I feel like we're about to turn the tide. And I said that earlier, and I was like, what a stupid statement, but it's the truth. I feel confident that Alabama's on the way down.
You know what that is? That's me playing the tiniest little violin with the Bama tears.
Alabama.
I ain't worried about no Bama. They had their day. It's Tennessee. Well, it's always been Tennessee time. They've had their day. I'm sorry. That's why people are looking at us to see what we're going to do. I'm telling you, it is happening right before their eyes. They better wake up and smell the coffee. Because I'm still feeling the cheeses, Coach. I'm ready to go.
Preach, Ron. Come on, come on.
Seth in the chat said, he said Ron's not even said a word yet, and I've got chills.
Say it with your chest, Ron. Come on,
That's
man.
what Ron does to the chat.
No, I think, I think I've said it before. I think Bama's, I think at minimum they got 3 losses on that schedule next year. And,
one of them's to who?
Tennessee, right? But they've got some tough games on that schedule. They might even have 4 on there, but I think they do have 3 losses on there. And for most first-year coaches, that'd be great. But I think you could see them get really antsy after a 3-loss season, a 4-loss season. I think it's going to be easier to recruit against them if they end up with that many losses as well, right? You're going to see vultures start to circle. You're going to see your every coach, right? Whether it be Hugh Freeze or Lane Kiffin out there saying, they've fallen, they're dead, right? Stick a fork in them, come our way. So I think Coach DeBoer is going to be under a large amount of pressure to succeed immediately. We'll see how it goes for him.
That's why I think a lot of people didn't want to take the job, right? Nobody wants to follow Nick Saban. And the pressure is going to be so high. And like you said, you lose 3 games right out of the gate. They're going to say, well, this guy's not the guy. And then hopefully they fire him. Hopefully they fire him within 3 years, and then they go hire the wrong guy again, and then you reset the cycle, and they go down the same rabbit hole they went down before they got Saban. Like, all these fair-weathered Bama fans don't remember the nonsense and all the horrible hires they made leading up to Saban. They don't know that because it's like the Colorado fans. They didn't watch Colorado until Deion was hired. Now they're like, oh, yeah, Skull Buffs. They have no idea. They couldn't tell you who coached before Deion Sanders. Let me catch up. Timothy McGee and a defensive lineman from Germany as Constantine. Yeah. Shout out to why can I not remember his last name?
Ritzman.
Yeah, there you go. Constantine Ritzman. There you go. Brain Chadman for 2. Jenny getting right with him. She's always here representing. Y'all are cowards. Y'all are cowards. Jenny and Ron are here. Where are you? This is your show. We're doing this show for you guys. I hope you guys are having a good time tonight. Timothy McGee for 2 says, remember Constantine Ritzman. Did he drop both of those super chats?
So,
yes, he
probably
did. Yeah, he did. He dropped both of them. He's like, Boogie's not going to get this. I better drop another $2 and make sure that he knows what I'm talking about. Let's talk a little spring. I said we were going to go an hour. We'll do a little overtime because we got Jenny and Ron Adon in the house. Jenny, we'll throw it to you first. What do you? We're 4 weeks away, guys. February sucks. It's got the stupidest holiday in the history of holidays. And then when that holiday's over, and then it's like, all right, we're almost to March, which means the dead period's over and it's closer to spring camp. We're 4 weeks away. What are you watching this spring, Jenny? What are you excited about?
I'm just excited to get them to get to work. Nico, seeing him get to work. We are getting a lot of hate. I don't know how much. I need to stay off of social media. We're getting a lot of hate, especially from Oklahoma and Texas fans. I'm like, y'all are not even in the SEC yet. Y'all can't talk crap right now to us. And like Texas, especially, we haven't played y'all since 1968, but they want to keep bringing up that they own us. And I'm like, we haven't played since 1968. I wasn't even born. So neither was my older sister. My parents weren't even married yet. I mean, just, but I'm looking forward to seeing them, seeing the new guys, the freshmen, seeing how they play. I'm hoping and praying that we don't lose. I feel like we're going to lose a couple of wide receivers in the portal and when it opens back up in the spring. I'm praying that we don't, I'm like, they just know they have to work to get that spot. No spot is safe and they have to get to work.
What about you, Ron the Don? What are you excited about?
Well, I want to see some coach and player evaluation. When that happens, players start to play. Coaches start to see who really has it and who really does not have it. Sad to say, it happens. We're going to lose a few, whether it be through the portal or whatever the case may be. You get a chance to see how the coaches really are coaching. We've had an example over the years, believe it or not, like it or not, with Coach Saban. He's had top-tier players can make any regular coach seem to be exceptional. We have the chance where we have top-tier players to that degree, but our coaches can see who's doing what and how they react in certain situations so we can put the best players on the field at the right time. Did we have a coach from Alabama play with Saban? He sucked. He sucked bad. So that's all Saban doing that. It wasn't him as a coach. So right now we have a chance to see how the coaches react to the players who's out there right now, how they play, how they evaluate the players, what to put them out on the field, how they can be most effective. And it's great that we have the type of offense that we have because it cut a little slack for the coaches to catch up if they're behind on their coaching scheme. And that's the grace we have. But I want to see them players get out there. I want to see the coaches really evaluate them, be hard on them, make them do what they're supposed to do, and put some fight into these players, man. This is our chance, man. I'm not talking about coming, I want to be the bad guys on the block. When they show, I want them to be mad. I want them to be, golly, these Tennessee Vols, man, they're insane. They're crazy. They're hurt. I want to see what they play. That's what I want to
get that same mentality that Kirby Smart puts into Georgia that they're being disrespected, which we really are being disrespected. But somehow Kirby Smart gets into his players' head saying y'all are being disrespected when they really aren't. So
Yeah, but how do you motivate a group of dudes that have won every game for 3 years, right? You got to find something, man. You got to find something to
He
motivate them.
somehow gets them
Yep.
motivated. Like he gets them to believe that everybody that people underestimate them, and when it's not really true. I mean, I don't see how he does it, but he somehow does it.
It happened the entire 2022 season. Everybody acted like they were not any good. And a lot of it happened last year too. But like from personal experience, nothing motivates me and inspires me more than hate and people that doubt me. Like when they doubt me, I'm like, all right, you son of a. It's not Tuesday. I won't say what I want to say, but nothing motivates me to work harder than somebody doubting me. So I get it, man. If you can convince your players that everybody in the country's doubting you, guess what? They're ready to go to war. They're ready to go to war for you. Let me catch you up here. Knoxville Predator catcher for 5. What do you call an offensive lineman with commitment issues? Gerald Mintz. No, we got to say Knoxville Predator catcher doesn't show up on Tuesdays. We call that a Gerald. That's it, just a Gerald, like a Karen, a Gerald. We call them a Gerald. Don't be a Gerald. That's a Tuesday night thing. Y'all got to come hang out on Tuesday nights. We have a good time. John Mills for 2. Who do we get in the spring portal from Washington? I don't have any names, but that's it. That's interesting. It's interesting. We talked about the negative impacts earlier in the show. Does anybody leave because of Brian Jean-Marie? Does anybody leave because of Jerry Mack? Does anybody show up at Tennessee because of who you're adding at your position coaches? Anybody have strong thoughts on that?
That's what I think. Maybe I think we're more than likely to add someone from Washington other than Cincinnati. I just think, plus our running back room is just crazy stacked. And our linebacker room is too, but say, for example, you have a linebacker that's got some juice to him that has some years of eligibility that Coach Inge likes and has that edge to him. I don't think Tennessee would turn them down. I mean, I think you're looking at any way possible to improve your roster. And if that's a guy that Coach Inge likes, I think they'd be okay with bringing him on. I feel like we're, other than maybe offensive line, going to look to add, unless some guys leave. I think the only position we're really going to look at real hard in this spring portal is the interior offensive line. I think that's the only position that we maybe one DB, but if not one DB, I think the interior offensive line, unless, like I said, unless some guys leave, which, like Jenny said, I can kind of see it too, the writing on the wall. A couple guys, wide receivers leave if they see what happens after spring ball. I'm like with her. I don't want to see it, but we all seen the system in which Coach Heupel and runs, where it's just 3 to 4 guys. I personally feel like they need to run 5 or 6, but hey, it's a dog eat dog game, so you better step up, practice your ass off, and be ready to compete, or else you ain't gonna have a spot. So,
I mean, if the kid from Tulane comes in and he competes, and he man, I almost made a video on him this morning. I know we talked a little bit about Kubelik, what he had to say the last time we did a live stream, but he's now he's sharing, Chris Brazel, gold jacket, green jacket. He's posting videos of him running routes and continuing to like it's still going on. He's still praising him, and I'm starting to think, man, maybe we really do have a good one. And I think if he comes in and does, I think the wide receiver position is always going to be just fine. I think it's going to be just fine at Tennessee, whether you go to the portal, whether you go recruit guys like Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley. I think they're going to be just fine. Let me get a super chat here from Timothy McGee. Hey, are y'all going to the orange and white game or the baseball game on the 13th since they screwed everybody with limited tickets for the spring game? We talked about this on the last live stream, Timothy. Talkin VAWLS meet and greet, Talkin VAWLS tailgate. We're going to be at the orange and white game. We're going to be tailgating. We're going to be hanging out. I know they're only allowing 10,000 people in, probably season ticket holders. We're not going to be allowed in. Us poor folk can't get in. We don't have the financial means to get in. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to drink a lot of beer, eat a lot of chicken wings in the parking lot, and they're going to have big screen set up. So we're going to watch the orange and white game. We're going to watch the baseball game. I've already got somebody that texted me that day and said, "Oh, Boogie, I saw the live stream. You need a designated driver? I'm your guy. I will drive you and 4 people down to the orange and white game so you can have a good time with your friends." And that's what we're going to do. So I hope you guys will come out. Don't be discouraged. I get it. I'm frustrated too. I wish we could all get in. We're not going to be able to. Come hang out. Come hang out with the Talkin VAWLS family. It is going to be a blast. I'm going to fly Coach Jay out here. Well, he flies for free. I'm going to pay for his hotel room if he will fly out here for free and get him to the orange and white game. I don't know if he's going to do it. Coach Jay, you going to do it? You going to let me buy your hotel room?
I'm working on it. I haven't fully cleared my schedule yet, but I'm attempting. We'll see.
I've already committed. He can fly for free because of his child. His child allows him to fly for free. I told him I will pay for your hotel room, your food, everything to get his butt out here. Coach Ross,
I'll be there.
You better be there. You better be there.
Wait, are they not going to allow students to go? Because that used to be a big thing for the students because we used to just show up.
Somebody asked me that.
Too.
It may have been Coach Jay that asked me that. Yeah. I've not seen that. All I've seen that season ticket holders are going to get first dibs because it's 10K. 10K is all they're allowing in. So we'll see. We'll see. Connor's in the house. Look at that beautiful hat. Coach Jay, are you jealous of that hat? Do you wish you had that hat?
I'm a little jealous of that hat. I'm going to be honest.
I'm jealous.
Soon you'll have that hat.
Yeah, I got my first paycheck, and this was first purchase.
There you go.
You're living right.
Wise
You're living
man.
right. Making dumb purchases with your first paycheck, just like we all should. Just like we all should. How you feeling about the hires today? Spring practice, whatever you want to talk about, man. How you feeling on this Monday night?
I love it. I feel great, honestly. I love the passion that these coaches have, and we always talk about how Heupel he hires the people that he wants to hire and make this program what it needs to be, and that's what separates him from all the other Tennessee head coaches. It's just the way that he wants to present his staff and the way he recruits. He's doing it his way, and that's what I love about it. And worrying about those relationships instead of money and all that. I love what we're doing. And I'm very young, so I haven't dealt with all the Tennessee pain. One of my key memories is the Juwan Jennings Hail Mary. And that's I'm tearing up just thinking about it, but I always remember that.
So am I. Don't worry. So am I.
But
it's all right. It's all good.
But yeah, pretty much that. But always, future's bright, man. Future is bright, and it's bright orange. So I'm excited.
How old are you, Connor? How old are you?
I'm 16.
I love something that Dauber brings up on this channel all the time is that kids your age, like high school kids, middle school kids, they're all wearing Alabama stuff, Ohio State stuff, Michigan stuff. They're not repping Tennessee. That's changing. And you know why? You know why it's changing? One commit changed everything. And it's Nico, man. He made it cool to come to Tennessee again. And people want to talk about dark mode and it's stupid. That's not our No. Nico repping dark mode was cool. That's why all the kids that come in on visits, they put on dark mode because Nico did it. Nico is, and you can sell that short. And look, obviously it's Josh Heupel too. It's Josh Heupel too. But Nico committing is what made Tennessee football sexy again.
Hey,
tell me when I'm telling lies.
No, you're full on telling the truth. And I will add one more thing that made Tennessee cool again was Jalen Hyatt's performance against Alabama. Everybody saw that national stage. You couldn't have picked a more trendy guy ever. That night, that performance that he put on sold Tennessee football. It's
You want to
so
talk about tears? You want to talk about tears?
yes,
We're sitting there getting ready to go live, man. I'm like,
I can't
yes.
do
I don't know.
Me and you both.
You put on a
Yes.
clinic.
I
Oh,
was
man.
I was running around my house, just
Oh, there's a
I-
YouTube video of Tennessee fans reacting to that. Like,
oh yeah,
I cried, and the thing is, I remember us Alabama beat us one time in 2002 when I was in college. That was the only time Alabama ever beat us, and so I'm just glad that kids are able to see that again because they hadn't been able to. And but Alabama didn't beat us all that much when I was growing up.
Fulmer owned their ass. He owned their
Yeah.
ass. He did.
Yeah.
JP almost got me in a fist fight one time for saying that to somebody in Neyland Stadium. They turned around to me and said, "What'd you say?" I said, "I didn't say nothing. Like, why are you yelling at me?" JP's just sitting over there with his foot in his mouth. Timothy McGee for 2 says, "Where are you setting up there on campus?" I'm hoping G10. I think we'll probably tailgate in G10, and then we'll congregate over to wherever they have the big screens. I think they said outside gate 23, and then some parking lot 9. Did they say? I can't remember. We're gonna tailgate in G10. That's the goal, and then we'll grab our tailgate chairs and we'll move over. Did I say something to offend the coaches? I mean, they all just left. They all just walked right out the door. So I don't know if they're offended about my choice of where to tailgate. That's what the plan is. So man, we're gonna do it. Timothy from,
Crap,
oh wow, he thought he was muted.
I'm just
Coach
kidding.
Jay thought he was muted. Timothy for another 2 said, "Did the judge ever rule yet on the NCAA?" Not yet.
No.
Not yet. We will update you once they do.
I
We
just
got
want-
Russell. Go ahead, Jay.
This also shows that the coaches are not scared of this. That's why I'm not putting a lot of stock in this NCAA stuff, because if this was as extreme as people are trying to make this out to be, no coach would have even interviewed for these positions.
Oh yeah, it's
So,
nothing. I don't think it's
and also I
anything.
want to say one thing about the and I'm going to be done, but the alternate jerseys, I know people get a lot of hate about those, but those are big recruiting tools. And I'm friends with former players on Facebook, and they tell people this is gold for recruiting because it gets the players hyped, and then the recruits see this. So, I mean, 1 to 2 games with these alternate jerseys is not a big deal. We're still wearing our classic jerseys, classic uniform the majority of the time. Just a couple of games is not going to hurt anything.
Coach Rice said, "Boogie, I gotta go." His wife's yelling
out.
at him. He's like, "Man, like you remember Valentine's Day when I couldn't be here? I gotta bounce. I gotta go." She's yelling. We got Russell in the house. We got BS Osborne in the house. Let's start with Russell. How you feeling today, man? You happy about
Pretty
these
good.
coaching hires?
I'm pretty psyched about it, actually.
Well-
I think Heupel, as I said in the chat, I trust in his judgment, and he seems like he's got a pretty good handle on who he wants in his program, whether it be coaches or players.
What about you? I'm going to call you Mr. Osborne. That's how much I respect you. I love when you come in here and you drop knowledge on us. How are you feeling about, Coach Heupel's had to make a few hires, right? Alex Golish off to USF, and then, Cody Burns to the NFL. You've had to make a few hires. Alec Ablin getting promoted. How do you feel about these two this week? Just today.
Well, I feel good about it, and that's funny you call me Mr. Osborne there, Boogie, because I get that during the day too much. So you can just call me BS or Scott. Probably shouldn't say too much, but I've hired a lot of people in my job, and I will say, and by the way, I'm old when the name is Scott. But anyway, I feel like he's done a really good job on his hires. I'm real happy with both hires, and I like the experience, particularly on the linebacker coaching hire, and I'm sure he's motivated. I know I would be, and I'm older than him by a decent amount. And the young man from Cincinnati, the running backs coach, Mr. Sims, I believe, you could tell he's fired up. So I'm happy about that.
What about,
I'm excited.
Let's talk spring ball too, and then we'll get out the door here and I said we were going to go an hour. We never go an hour. Let's talk a little spring ball, Russell. What position group or players? Give me one player offense, one player defense. Take the question however you want. What are you watching? What are you excited for this spring? We're a month away, man. It's go time. It's go time.
It's got to be Nico on offense. I mean, he's shown us one game. I want to see what else is out there with him. So, on defense, not one player in particular, but I am definitely interested in how the D line's going to act for sure. I think if that D line is solid, then man, that'll be take care of a lot of issues we have. Well, I take that back, defensive back as well, but I think if the D line shows up at the end of the day, it kind of translates to the rest of the defense.
Do you think we're underselling the defensive line? Like, we've talked so much about the offensive line and how they're all coming back. The defensive line, other than Tyler Barron, is all coming back too.
When I was coming up, it was defense. Tennessee defense. I mean, that's what we were known for. We were wide receiver U for a while, and our defense kicked ass for a long time. And that's right. I was always interested. As a former defensive player, I was always focused on defense. And that's my thing.
I mean, he's right. When I was we had the best run defense in the country when I was 2001, I think, when it was John Henderson, Albert Hainsworth, Rashad Moore, and Will Overstreet. Yeah, that was like that was a wall. Nobody could run against them.
I mean, I go back to high school in '85 in Miami.
Yeah,
I mean, that's already 7 times. So
I was 18 years old.
Yeah, I was in high school at the time, so that's
I think Nico. Don't you think, Russell? This is just me. Nico, in some ways, reminds me of Tony Robinson, especially with his fluid throwing motion. I'm excited. I'm really excited about that. Thank you, Mr. Ron the Don, on agreeing. And then, real quick, I'm excited about Arian Cotter. We've had a lot of great linebackers, and I'm real excited about the linebacker coach, the new coach, getting with those guys. So.
Yeah, it's time. Absolutely. It is time. Connor, just a word of advice. I know you're a young ball fan. Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you right now, there'll be some tough days. There's gonna be some long days. There's gonna be hardcore, teary days where you just don't understand. But hang with it. I'm telling you, there's a prophecy out there. Be cool.
Yeah, I tried.
All from a virgin mother who played football. It's coming, man. Just hang with it and kind of enjoy it all. There's gonna be some times where you're gonna go to school and your fans gonna be wearing them other shirts like Alabama or maybe even a Texas shirt.
Michigan.
Yeah. You walk
Texas ain't nothing but nothing but 10-gallon hat.
I'm gonna be here, man. Yeah. Let it happen. Yeah. When we do it this time, it's gonna be right.
Yeah.
Connor, let me tell you. Connor, let me tell you one thing. In 1998, do you want to know how old I was?
I'm gonna be smart with this answer, and I'm gonna say 5
You
years
have no
old.
idea. You have no idea. Say you have no idea.
I was 16. So maybe you'll.
Ron the Don. Ron the Don. What does it feel like? What does 2024 feel like, Ron the Don? What does it feel like?
Feels like 1995, don't it, Ron the Don?
It feels like 90. I'm telling you, it was a long time. Oh my God, pain, tears, agony. I'm telling you, Connor, man, enjoy this. Boogie told us in 2022, enjoy the ride because it meant.
And who won the national championship before the year before?
Michigan. Michigan.
Back, man.
Oh my God, it's happening. It's happening, Coach Jay. It's happening.
Like a crazy ex-girlfriend who didn't lose your number. She's calling again. NCAA championships. We getting this. Don't be waiting. It is what it is, man. I'm telling you, it's coming, man. It's coming. Be ready, Connor. Be ready. Enjoy the ride.
Amen
Connor,
to
you
that.
see all these delusional psychopaths that are around you on this stream? This is what being a Tennessee fan will do to you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the old man. And, you know, I'll speak for myself. I'm the oldest one on here,
I
probably.
thought you were going to call Jenny an old lady. I thought that's where you were going. You backed it down.
I'm at least as smart as Connor. You know, I'm at least as, hopefully, I hope, you know. And I'll say one thing real quick. Back in 79, when I was in junior high, there was a kid who was a Tennessee fan and had a shirt. I don't know if any of y'all my age remember, but wait till next year, Tennessee. And that was always in reference to the Bammers because we had a hard time beating them back then, too. And I'm ready to get a streak going against Alabama. And I want to beat them. We got to beat them, obviously, this year because we stay at 8 games going forward. We won't be playing them every year either.
Yeah,
I think, I think they said we're going to 9 games in 2026.
Yes.
Well, I hope so because I want to beat Alabama into the ground.
And I think that's
as
why
much as
I'm thinking that's why Saban decided to retire. One of the reasons because he was so against going to 9 games, and I think it has to be 9 games to keep some of these rivalries intact.
Little afraid of Nico too. So there we go.
Man, I want to beat him outright. That's why I'm so glad when we played Alabama and Bryce came out there and played his heart out. We ran him off the field. Bring your best to us. We ain't taking second boat no more.
Oh, Bryce was the only reason why Alabama was in.
We up front. Yeah. I'm just saying, man, bring us your best because it's time for us to do this thing. Man,
Bryce was the only reason why Alabama was even in that game, and it was because of Bryce Young.
You put Jalen Milroe on that same team. Tennessee beats them by 60.
Coach Jay feels like y'all talking about his kids. He's like, Coach Jay, which one of your kids do you like more? That's how he felt just now.
Yeah.
Don't talk about Bryce and the Vols.
You know, I can remember being young at a high school football game at the high school I would go on to play at in 6th grade. And I was wearing a big Tennessee jacket, the old starter jacket, right? Old Tennessee starter jacket. And someone was like, "You're just wearing that jacket because you're," and I know him really well. A guy named Rico Harris, his brother, a great basketball player, good all-around family of basketball players. But he told me, he was like, "You're only wearing that because you're a front runner. If Tennessee wasn't good, you wouldn't love them." And I was just sitting there stewing, you know, like, all right, we'll see, you know. And I ran into him too, like 3 years ago, and I was like, I wasn't such a front runner, was I? 'Cause I've been through some crap with this damn team, and we had a good chuckle about it. But yeah. Hey, what do y'all guys think, real quick, before we get out of here? What do you think of this? There's a lot of I know Kaner did an article about it. I know there's a bit of media about it right now about Nico having the most pressure on his shoulders of any quarterback in college football this year. I don't know if you guys agree with it, but
you know where he stole that, right?
Was it here?
Right out of my mouth.
On the Talkin VAWLS network, yeah.
Freaking dork. Talking about me stealing his stuff all the time. He's here all the time just lurking like, oh, what's Boogie going to say? And I'll make it a video.
For me, I think Nico's the perfect kid for something like that, though, because I don't think he views stuff like that, but he's just kind of calm.
But go around the room. Everybody chime in on this. Name one quarterback that has more pressure on them in 2024 than Nico? I'll wait. It's him.
Well, yeah, it's definitely him.
He's the man.
But I will go with Coach Jay's his confidence that he can handle it. He's always saying that he can handle it. I think he can handle it.
For sure. Mm-hmm. He came out with an article, and showed out like it was no big deal.
Citrus. Yeah, he looked good in the Citrus. I was there. He looked good in the Citrus Bowl.
Yeah.
Citrus Bowl.
Okay, have a look. No, I said before, the reason why Joe was put on the field because Joe was here. And at his base level, they kept him there. When Nico comes in the game, Nico's already there. He can go get better. That's why Joe stayed on the field. That's why he was out there. That's why Nico can only get better because he's coming at the same level Joe was as a 6-year starter. That's what's so scary about it. I mean, he may have some pressure on him, but he's been He's been on social media for like the last 5 or 6 years, playing games, doing things, doing on sevens. He's been there. All he has to do is come out and be himself. And as he gets better, we'll get better, and the people around him are going to get better. The coach, I'm not saying that the coach is not going to coach, but it's a lot easier coaching a superstar than it is coaching some mid-range player that you got to coach up. He's already there.
Yep.
That's what
Amen. Yeah. I agree.
You don't think he's faced pressure his entire life?
Right.
You're the number one recruit in the country. You don't think you faced pressure? I cannot wait. That's what I keep saying. I cannot wait for the talk to stop, for me to have to stop saying, well, Coach Jay said. It's like I feel like I have to explain everything. Well, Coach Jay said, and Coach Jay knows because of this and that and the other. It's so stupid. Like, why do you believe what you believe? Yeah, we're going to find out.
Oh, y'all do know
wait.
that people have Nico ranked in the SEC quarterbacks like at best 6. I've seen 7 and 6. I'm like, okay, okay, that's with Oklahoma and Texas coming in, and I'm like, okay, all right. But you know what? I love this because remember what happened in '98? Peyton Manning left, and everybody's like, oh, Tennessee's not going to do anything. We were ranked like 17 preseason, 18. We weren't ranked very high. And people kept losing. We kept winning.
Hey, Ron the Don.
Telling you, he is so smooth.
What does it feel like?
Nico is so smooth.
What's it feel like?
It feels like 98. I'm telling you.
Yes, it does.
And under those same circumstances, but this is what is a little bit different. Hey, T. Martin, he was a pretty good quarterback.
He was.
But the offensive line that had set around Peyton Manning made it so T. Martin can do his level best and still be extra superlative. Now we're in a situation where we get the same offensive line, a high string roster of running backs, and we got a quarterback that is still on the rise. I'm telling you, I'd be surprised if we don't get it this year and next year. That's going to create a whole lot of what we call happy problems for our team. We're ready for this, man. This is our time. Now, I wish they want to coach one more year. So not only do we just let him out the door, we kicked him out the door. Get on out of here, Nick.
We got to wrap the show. We got to wrap this. I told you guys an hour. It's an hour and a half. This is what always happens. I love you guys. It's the best community for Tennessee football on YouTube, period. Hands down, no question. Timothy Vertu says, I feel old. I was 18.
He was only 2 years older than me. I was 16.
I was a senior in high school. I can remember exactly.
I was a junior.
I remember exactly where I was at for that national championship. I watched it with 2 Florida State fans. 2 Florida State fans I watched that game with, and I'll never forget it.
I watched it with my family, my dad. I mean, rest in peace to my dad. He's the reason why I'm a Tennessee fan. I'm so happy he got to see that before he passed away in 2003. So,
that's one of the biggest things I get on this channel is people that are a little bit older that say, I want to see one more time before I die, Boogie. Just one more time. And it's like, man, that is like such a powerful statement. Michelle, the ultimate lurker, drops a 20 spot. That's an Orange Boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top!
Michelle says, I love all you guys. Well, what about Jenny? She's a gal. Michelle doesn't love you, Jenny.
It's fine.
So disrespectful, Michelle. You're so disrespectful. We got to get out the door. This was a lot of fun. I told you guys this is your somebody. I posted on my fake Facebook page. It's so fake. It's like some type of alter ego. I don't post anything personal. It's all talking balls all the time. And I said, y'all want to do a fan call-in show tonight? And somebody said, well, that's your choice. It ain't my choice. It's your choice. This is your channel. You guys said yes. I texted Coach Jay. I texted Coach Ross. They said, let's roll, Boogie. I said, all right, we're rolling. We're rolling. That's what we do here. This is my commitment to you guys, man. This is my commitment to you guys. When there's news breaking, we're going to go live. We're going to let you guys talk about it. We're going to wrap this thing up. Shout out Coach Jay. Always here. Anytime, every time the bat signal goes up. Jenny representing the ladies. I love it. Ron the Don, you're a freaking celebrity. B.S. Osborne is one of my favorite people on this channel. I know he always comes on. He's like, Boogie, I talk too much and people don't.
I do.
We want to hear you. We love what the stories that you tell. Shout out Russell. Appreciate you jumping on. Connor, the future is bright. Keep representing the Talkin VAWLS and Tennessee Vols and Nico. Man, the future is bright. We out the door. This It's the Talkin Balls Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. I'm going to try to find the outro music, and when I do, I'm going to say go Big Orange.
That we call home.